How did I overcome? One day at a time.
Welcome to today's episode. Let's get right into it. Okay, so today, one of our topics is going to be on balancing the demands in various aspects. So we have Sophia here with us today, and we're going to be exploring basically some ideas, inspiration as to how we can get through certain aspects of life when we're trying to overcome. So, Sophia, help us out.
Anne, you said the right thing. Earlier you said life. Life is going to have a lots of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about overcoming, it's a journey, right? I don't think I can ever recall a time in my life, even as a young girl, when I came to the conscientiousness of who I was or who my parents are, what's my name, what school I'm in. I've always gone through stuff. I mean, I think all of us do, but we never really go through it and then get over it and then it ends. If you notice, the journey continues. Because I think in every stage of our life itself on this earth, it's going to be like that. And I think the Bible is full of those stories from Genesis till Revelation. I mean, we know what happened in so many of these Bible stories, but we think we get our inspiration from the Word of God, then we get our inspiration from people, heroes of faith in this life. And I think in my case, it's a mix of both. It's always been that way. But the journey always started somewhere with me being isolated from all those people in this life that was surrounding me, even the heroes of faith, where God will allow me to go to a place where I was always going to be alone with Him. I think that's where it always started for me, my beginning. Like, I've been through so many. I'm in my coming to my mid-50s, going towards the later part of the 50s now, without saying my age. I can attest to you that those journeys have made me who I am today. However, like I said, because the journey continues, who I am today will not be me, maybe if God wills another 5 years, because I would have grown from the next journey, right?
Exactly.
So I think the key thing is for us to recognize at every stage the purpose and the plan of that situation.
Yes.
And when you're going through it, sometimes you get blinded, and that's very natural.
Yeah.
Because as women, as a mother, as a student, as a colleague, as a daughter, I mean, we wear so many hats. So one side might be all okay, then another side we are going through all kinds of stuff, right? But it's what makes us who we are. Because at the end of the day, we are all made in the image of Christ, and then we are all supposed to reflect Jesus Christ when He comes, right?
Yes.
So regardless of the gender, I think the important thing is to take a moment to just accept your vulnerability. I think a lot of women, or at least we have been taught how to not cry, how to don't show them that you're sweating. But do you know sometimes you need to? You need to be vulnerable.
Definitely.
You need to be vulnerable, but be very careful who you're vulnerable with.
Exactly.
Right? But I think God is so good, though. He allows us to be vulnerable to only reveal to us that we need Him no matter where we are, which stage of life we are in, which season we are in. So for me, for example, I just want to talk about something that you and your husband were very privy to, is when my son Matthew went through the cancer situation. And it was a shock. Now, listen, this is I would consider us a little senior in Christianity or whatever, because, we've been through some things and we've grown a lot, I would say. I look back just to sometimes check how far we have come. And I'm saying, okay, I think we got it now. And then the Lord said, no, not yet. You still got to go.
Yeah.
And then when this happened, I'm like, what? Why? Because it's going to impact another season of your life that's to come.
Yes.
As long as we're on this earth, we're going to have to go through that. So first we got to accept that. And I always encourage others that our trials, we are not defined by the problems, but God uses those to take the situation, to turn it around through us, the broken vessel, and give Him the glory. It's always been about God. If you read the Bible, I mean, I know you guys do, but when I say that, I mean, when you see the stories, even kings, great priests, prophets, all went through stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Crazy.
Definitely.
Like crazy stuff, only for God to get the glory in the end. So it took me a while to get there. So when my son was going through that, of course, I was baffled. I'm like, the first question, you start doubting your own faith. Then you start wondering, did I do everything right, God? It's always now your eye is taken from God, and then the eye comes on yourself.
Redirected, yes.
What did I do? What did I do wrong, or what did I not do, or what, But you see, that's the enemy. He constantly wants you to doubt your purpose, especially when you're on the move. Like you were sharing with me earlier, I've worked on this for a long time.
Oh yeah.
The doubt, I'm pretty sure you were hit by doubts, and you were not sure, and you're like, should I be doing
obstacles?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But look, you took a step of faith.
Oh yeah.
And you said, you know what, I'm going to run with this. I'm going to catch Sophia. I don't care how, but I'm not going to let her go home until we do this. See, that's what I call persistence.
Yeah.
Your faith has to show persistence.
Yeah.
That's an example.
And I think that's where it drops off for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Is their level of faith. And then it just gets buried.
It gets buried.
And then they're struggling. Trying to fix it all by themselves.
You know why? They sometimes all of a sudden forget that, hey, if God gave you the idea, He's going to provide you with whatever you need.
True.
And sometimes when we say that, we think, oh, so it has to be here in front of me, the resources. But that's not the case,
Not necessarily.
It's when you take the step of faith, then the path will open.
Yeah, and I definitely believe that, because the Holy Spirit, very, very strong. Do this, do that. Don't do this. Well, why don't you do that? So it's like, yeah, this is the time. This is the time. So it's just a matter of following it.
Obedience.
Obedience is huge.
So today, Pastor Wendy said, I think it was Hebrews 4:19. I was reading it again, because I don't take these things like, she said, I was reading this, and I said, what is the connection between this and tithing? But if you read earlier, if you read chapter 4 from the beginning, it's really talking about obedience. And it's because of the lack of obedience in the later part of the chapter. It says it's a lack of the obedience. This is a disobedience that cost a lot of lives in the wilderness. So I'm like, okay, what's that got to do with this? Because when we say we want to trust God, we want to overcome, obedience is a key factor. It's a key factor. What are we obeying? I say, what do you mean, God? What do you mean obedience? What does that mean? So if you read on, in the front, on the top, higher, it says very clearly, you have to know first that when God gave you salvation, I'm just paraphrasing the whole chapter here. When you knew that your salvation came from Christ, that means whatever the circumstances that the journey you're going through, that you embarked on, is going to be filled with issues, but that assurance from God that He gave you salvation, He's going to take care of you in this particular
during that storm
time.
Right.
And when you realize that and sit and rest, she was talking about rest.
Yeah.
That is the rest that God's saying we forget. We get flabbergasted, flustered, tired, exhausted, because all of a sudden we begin to doubt. We forget we are chosen.
Yeah.
We forget we have been handpicked by God for this particular situation or project. We forget because we try to figure it out on our own.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say, "Oh, I don't know what to do next. I'm just going to sit here and wait for God to tell me what to do." Sometimes we do that to ourselves because the devil's like, "Oh wow, I thought you got this." You see, he's coming on the other side.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he came to Eve and say, "Are you sure you're supposed to do this? Are you sure you're supposed to embark on this? Are you sure God really loves?" That's actually what it really boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy wants you to doubt God's love. A good father will put you through this. Believe me, and when I say this, we have been through that.
Yeah.
I have asked that question. If
Mm-hmm.
you love me, why
Then
you
why?
allow me?
Yeah.
That's the wrong question to
Yeah.
ask.
I think for a lot of people, that is what it is. You know, if there's really a God, why did he let this happen?
See, that's the key. That's what the devil wants us to do.
Exactly. What's interesting,
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Pastor Wendy this morning talking
Mm-hmm.
about the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a conversation I actually had with Pastor Sean. And it was a very deep conversation
Mm-hmm.
because we can be believers, but we think we're doing it all. And then there's a hole in the bucket, as I mentioned to her. There's a hole in the bucket because you believe and you think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But then you're busy taking on the role
Yeah.
that you have no business.
And
Because
you know
you're
what
not
happens?
being obedient, though.
Right. And when you're not obedient because you're not resting in the assurance.
Yes.
That's the rest that Hebrew chapter 4 is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That when we do not rest in the assurance, then we've forgotten the guarantee, the promises of God.
Exactly.
We've forgotten that He got our backs because
we lose our fire.
We lose our fire and we lose our focus.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to shake our faith.
Yeah.
So that's where the enemy wants to know why, because he knows faith is such a powerful key
Exactly.
to moving that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like going to be like a cascading effect.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can get you here with the disobedience, he can attack one after your confidence in God, and now your faith is shaking.
Exactly.
So now
everything else has been.
So everything else is history.
Yeah.
He's got us, you know. And I learned that, and I'm still learning that, and I don't want to stop learning because the goal is for us to not only touch our family, touch our friends, not our inner circle. I don't believe that. And yesterday we had a family and friends to celebrate our 29th year of the Wilson Family Day.
Okay.
We celebrate that every year. From the day my husband said to my kids when they were all little, and you know we have a blended family. He said, "This is mom, this is dad, I am dad." He told his kids and he told my kids, "This is mom, I am dad, we are the Wilsons."
Nice.
And I'm going to take care of everybody, and y'all are going to be my kids.
And it's 29 years?
29 years.
Wow.
So since 1996, we on September 18 been celebrating Wilson Family Day.
Oh, that is awesome.
And I want to share that testimony because if we, like, you know, today they prayed for generations and children and being an example. What is the message about God that we want to pass to our next generation? So now my kids are grown. My oldest is 35 almost, right? My son, Michael, was here today. What has he taken? What is his takeaway from this journey? What is Matthew's takeaway? They all had a chance to speak yesterday in front of some of Rachel's friends who also came into town from Atlanta to join this thing.
Wow.
About what is this, the Wilson? What is this? And they all have, I think, were going through stuff with their own families, but they were looking at it to see what is it they're going to get. And I did a little activity. My husband was still at work, and God gave me the words to share. And you know, the takeaway was this. Earthly father, Charles Wilson, my husband, had the wisdom not on his own to do that. Because the scripture says it's God who wills us to do those things, to please him, to do the right thing. It was God's will that he put in Mr. Wilson to do that, so that he can touch not only our family, but now our family is growing and other people are hearing about it and coming. because the world needs that. We are his
Right
hands and
now,
feet.
yes.
So when we go through
Definitely.
journeys, and I was reflecting on some of the hard times we went through, especially Matt was there yesterday and his girlfriend. And, I just told her, I said, thank you for being by his side as his girlfriend,
Yeah. I remember,
yeah,
I do remember when a few of those things were happening, and I thought to myself, that's so important for her to be there by his side throughout all of what was happening,
yes, yes.
because for a lot of
It
relationships,
shakes them. Yeah. Who
you
wants to
know,
deal with a sick guy, right?
exactly. And some people walk away. And I just
Exactly.
thought that was really big of her, than being a young
Yeah.
couple,
Yeah.
that she was able to be by his side.
So now I look back at what we went through, maybe it was 3 years ago. So I tell them, I said, now that I look back, I'm here now, but I look back and I look at everybody in this room and I know why we went through that, because now I can tell you something. I can tell you that the Heavenly Father had a will for all of us to be together on this day. So I can tell you guys what this earthly father did, because it was his will.
Yes.
For us to overcome those situations, because the enemy wants to isolate us.
Definitely,
always.
yes.
He's always trying to isolate us. Oh, why do you always go through this kind of problem? Why does your family have financial problem all the time? You guys must be doing something wrong.
Exactly, yeah.
That is the greatest lie of the enemy. Because people look at us like, didn't he just lose his job the last time? He's happening again. What's he really doing? Think about what happened to Job. His friends did the same thing. Oh, Job, you must have done something really bad. I don't think they meant it in a bad way, but sometimes it's got nothing to do. You see, in the beginning of the chapter, God says, have you seen my servant Job, a righteous man? God already put the stamp on Job. And then the story, unfolds and you hear, Job, what is wrong with you? Have you done something wrong? Now, God didn't tell them to ask him that. So we all go through that, right?
Yeah.
And I went through that too. I did. You feel like an outcast, ostracized. The enemy does that. So how did I overcome? One day at a time. Building upon my most holy faith. By prayer, with tears, screaming when nobody was in my house. I was alone, crying, talking to God, just letting it all out, letting him know how I felt. Sometimes we think if we let people know how we feel, we are weak. Well, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, then do it in the room in front of God. He's listening. That's all you need to do sometimes.
That
as
is
a
true,
spiritual
yes.
person, as a child of God, because God is not going to judge us because we are crying and screaming. Just the week before, you could have given a great testimony, and then this week you're like going through all hell is broken loose. I'm like, what's going on? I've been through all that.
Sure.
I feel bad. I said, Lord, did I say something wrong last week? Is that why I'm going through this week? But you know what, though? Now is the next season.
Exactly.
Of our testing, because it has to be tried. Our faith has to be tried. And if not for anyone else, you're gonna have to be able to say it to the next person who wants to hear that. And God knows who they are.
Most definitely, he will lead you to that person.
Or he will lead them to you.
Yes. Yeah. The challenges are there for a reason.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot tell you. I want to thank God for this day, this very moment that we are here and everything's good. Not because everything is good, but because he is good. He is good
to that.
And he will get us through it, whatever it is. So if I constantly just look at a situation and now that Matt is okay, I say, oh, we're good. Yeah, we're good. But even when he was sick, we were good.
Right.
But the enemy didn't give us that. He blocked it because Matthew would go for his treatments and he would be sick.
Yeah.
We are human,
Of course.
So
of course.
God made us human for that reason, so that in our humanity, we know that we cannot overcome without his person coming into us.
Yes.
Giving us the strength, teaching us what to do, helping us along the way. Sometimes phone calls would come. I tell you, I receive phone calls from all over the world. I got friends calling me from Italy, India, Singapore, Jacksonville, I mean, other parts of United States. People call me and say, I'm praying for your son.
Wow.
And then after everything was said and done, our picture was plastered on Mayo Clinic's webpage, front and I walked into the office and all my colleagues stood up and started clapping. I didn't know that had happened. I mean, I knew I gave that story. Then I walked in the office that morning and everybody's clapping. I'm like, oh, did I win something? They're like, you on the front cover of Mayo with your son.
Wow.
And that story went far and wide in Mayo. And I had people from other states who are part of Mayo as well, teamsing me, saying, that blessed me. See?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be inspiring to the person who is, thinking, oh, it's not working for me. What am I going to do? Seeing something like that,
Yeah. It was hard.
Worldwide makes a big difference.
Just before our son got sick, just a year ago or 2 years before, prior to that, we lost our oldest daughter, suicide. She was depressed.
You know what? I do remember that.
She was depressed and she committed suicide. So imagine now we're experiencing another crazy tragedy in our family with our son, and all of a sudden my husband is crushed.
Yeah.
He's crushed, and he said,
I remember your story.
Yeah.
But we're going to wrap up because you and we have to talk again.
I have a lot to
definitely.
share.
So that's it for this episode. We thank Sophia Wilson for coming by and sharing her inspiration with us. She'll definitely be back, and we have many hot topics to come. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. We'll see you next time.